Imagine watching a movie, and the ending actually changes every time you see it. Sounds pretty wild, right? Well, today's deep dive is into a Bollywood film that, believe it or not, did exactly that, Housefull 5. Our mission today, really, is to unpack the fascinating journey of this film. It's managed to be both a huge box office hit and, well, also a magnet for really mixed, sometimes pretty harsh reviews. We're going to explore what makes a movie like this tick. You know, how can it be so controversial yet so commercially successful? And what does that tell us about, like, audience expectations today?
Yeah, and to give you the full picture on Housefull 5, we've pulled together quite a range of sources for this deep dive. We're talking critical reviews, lots of social media reaction, the good and the bad, and of course the hard box office numbers. It paints quite a picture.
Okay, so let's dig into this. Housefull 5.
Yeah.
It's directed by Tarun Mansukhani, and, well, obviously it's the 5th film in that Housefull franchise, which is, you know, incredibly popular. They pitch it as a sort of murder mystery comedy, and the whole thing is set on a big cruise ship. The basic plot revolves around 3 characters, all named Jolly, played by Akshay Kumar, Riteish Deshmukh, and Abhishek Bachchan. Big Bollywood names. And they all claim to be the son of this deceased millionaire. But here's where the sources threw a real curveball. Really interesting.
That curveball you mentioned, that's the film's, let's call it groundbreaking experimental feature. It actually has 2 different endings, 2 climaxes. They called them Housefull 5A and Housefull 5B.
Yeah.
And the murder is different in each version. It was very deliberate, designed to keep people guessing, keep them curious, a totally new thing for this series. It was definitely an attempt to shake things up within the franchise formula.
Yeah, that dual climax thing definitely got people talking. But when you look at how the film was actually received overall, it's a real mixed bag, isn't it? I mean, on the positive side, you absolutely cannot deny the star power. Akshay Kumar, Riteish Deshmukh, Abhishek Bachchan. Plus, you've got veterans like Nana Patekar, Sanjay Dutt, Jackie Shroff. Our sources consistently say they really gave the film a bit of life.
Absolutely. And beyond just the names, the production value itself got a lot of praise. You know, the look of it, the grandeur of the cruise ship, these really lavish sets and those big musical numbers, people consistently called them visually stunning. And like you said, that whole second climax idea, it definitely added something, a layer of curiosity, a fresh angle, even if it was experimental.
But, it wasn't all smooth sailing, was it? The negatives we found are pretty significant, too, especially around the script. It got hammered by critics for basically being built on one-liners and a lot of double-meaning jokes. Plus, many ideas felt recycled from the earlier films. The sources often use words like weak and stale.
Right, and this really brings up an important question, doesn't it? About, you know, where that line is today between just fun comedy and, well, stuff that critics called harmful content. Specifically, there was this recurring criticism about how female characters were, quote, repeatedly shown for physical attraction, which led to accusations of objectification. Did the sources, did they get specific about how that played out, or is it just a general complaint?
Oh, yeah, they got specific. It wasn't vague. The critiques highlighted moments where female characters seem to exist mainly for visual gags or just as props for the male lead's jokes, like not really contributing much to the actual story. And honestly, no, our sources didn't really offer much of a counter argument to that specific point. It just kept coming up.
Okay.
And it wasn't just the script's content. Some sources even hinted at maybe cast's arrogance, suggesting that some big names like Sanjay Dutt and Jackie Shroff were really underused, like they were just there for the audiovisual impact, you know, like glorified cameos.
Precisely, which suggests they were relying on their famous faces to pull people in rather than, you know, actually using their acting chops in the story. And this contrast, high production values but maybe wasted talent, it leads us right to the audience versus critic reaction, because the reviews were just all over the place. Some viewers called it a decent entertainer, especially, it seems, fans of Akshay and Riteish, who maybe liked the familiar, over-the-top style.
Yeah, but then on the flip side, you had a huge chunk of social media just tearing it down, calling it cheap, loud, vulgar, saying it had a barren story. We saw actual posts on X Twitter saying things like, tries too hard to make you laugh, but fails miserably. Weakest film in hashtag Housefull franchise. And then right next to that, you'd see nonstop laughs, suspense, and a wild mystery. Perfect for fans of the franchise.
Yeah.
So, were they watching the same movie?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because these reactions really show the totally different things people want from a film like this. It's not just about taste. It really highlights this tension in the market today, you know? Critics often pushed for deeper stories, better writing, but there's clearly a big audience segment that just wants pure escapism. Like, cinematic comfort food, almost. No thinking required, just laughs.
Okay, so what does it all mean then? With views that polarized, how did it actually do at the box office? Because here's where the story takes another turn. Our sources show it did incredibly well financially. It had a really impressive opening, pulled in about 67 crore net, that's after taxes and distributor cuts just in the first 3 days. That broke down to 55 crore in the first 2 days, then another, 12.16 crore on day 3.
And zooming out, the total collection, domestic and worldwide, hit a huge 252 crore rupees, which is massive. It actually put Housefull 5 among the top 3 highest-grossing Hindi films of 2025. It just really hammers home that disconnect you can get between critics and commercial success, especially when you have huge stars and a gimmick like the dual ending.
Which brings us, I guess, to the final verdict for you, the listener. Who is this film actually for? Our sources kind of broke it down into why watch and why miss.
Huh?
So you might want to watch it if you're already a diehard fan of the Housefull movies. You know what you're getting. Or if that two-climax twist thing really makes you curious. Or maybe if you're just looking for something light, totally unpretentious, a comedy that doesn't make you think too hard.
Right. But on the other hand, you probably want to give it a miss if you're looking for, like, a strong script, logical plot, or clever humor. And definitely skip it if those double-meaning jokes or the way women are portrayed might bother you. Because ultimately, the average rating from our sources was pretty low, around a 2 or 2.5 stars out of 5. Pretty mediocre.
So the final picture of Housefull 5 is really two-sided. Some sources called it an item film, Bollywood shorthand, for a movie designed for mass appeal, lots of songs, broad humor, more about entertainment than plot. Made for bold, carefree audiences who don't mind if it's fast, funny, but maybe a bit illogical. But for anyone wanting a story that makes sense, the verdict was pretty much, do not watch at any cost.
Yeah, this whole deep dive into Housefull 5, it really is a perfect example of a film that got hit with a lot of criticism, faced real controversy, but still managed to sail through to massive box office success, mostly thanks to star power and that unique narrative. It's a fascinating
Reviews to becoming a box office giant. What does that tell us about how we even measure a film's success today? Is it the reviews? Is it how much the audience enjoys it? Or is it just about the money it makes in the end? And how much do these kinds of experiments, like changing the ending, actually factor into that whole equation? Makes you think, right,